Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning on Regan Says. So let's get into it, y'all. I'm so excited about this video. I'm sorry I made you wait for an extra day, but listen, my schedule has been packed and it's nobody's fault but my own. If you know me, you know I love to make or not make, but have events. That's just my thing. So when I think about it, I just do it. I really don't check the schedule like I do, but I don't. And so when I did my event the weekend before, I did not take into account that next weekend I had to go to Florida. So everything was just kind of back to back to back. And I really had no downtime. And so I'm just trying to be more focused on when I do have an event, making sure I don't have anything that's back to back because that can cause burnout. So for those, I had a candle making event coming up on the 20th. I canceled that. I'm sorry. We'll do it again. I really wanted to have it. I've refunded everybody their money. So the people who have already paid, I've refunded the money. So just check your bank in 2 to 3 business days. I have got to get some rest. Like, I'm serious. Like, my body felt exhausted. Like, it's almost like I don't even want to see the road anymore. Like, I'm serious, and I love to travel. But I have to have some time down, and I also have a second job. So it's not just my full-time job and my entrepreneur job. It's also a second job, and then I have a family, so I have to be very mindful of not burning myself out. So I have canceled that event. We will have the brunch on that Sunday, the 21st. Just check my page, All Things Regan, on Facebook, and all of the listing of my events are on there. But we have canceled the candle making party. I have about 2 or 3 more trips I got to take before the year is up, but they're kind of minute, so nothing really big. Just to kind of plan for events and things of that nature. But anyway, so I just want to let you know that I'm sorry, but I had to cancel the candle making event, and we'll have it again. But I gotta rest. If I'm not resting, and I tell you to put yourself first and make sure that you rest, I gotta do it too. I can't tell you to do it if I'm not doing it. So I've canceled that. But I want to talk about my trip to Jacksonville this past weekend. The name of the video is It's in My DNA. So for those who don't know, my name is Regan Adams. Let me get that out. Excuse me, my name is Regan Adams with All Things Regan. That is my business, and it is like an umbrella. I have a lot of other businesses under that. So I have a candle making business. I have a jewelry line, an online t-shirt line. I also have like mugs and journals and things of that nature, which I have not really been putting up here, but they kind of are on autopilot to sell themselves. So, but we'll talk about that another time. But the name of my business is All Things Regan, for those who are just joining me, because I do have new friends that I've made over the weekend and family members. So welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So every Monday or Tuesday, I have just a video that's like a vlog that's, as Regan says. So it's just my thoughts or things that I've gone through, or, you know, most of the time when I'm going through something, I'm going to pop on here. If I'm not, if I just have a thought, I'm going to share it every time. Well, not every time, but a lot of the time. And some people kind of gravitate to that, and they say, you know, I was going through the same thing, or I'm thinking the same thing, or I just enjoy your video. So I think somebody cares. So I come on here every Monday or Tuesday, and I do a video called Regan Says. So today's video is It's in My DNA. For those who do not know me, I am adopted. I was adopted at 3 months old by Lou and Dorothy Manning. And I think they told me I was adopted maybe, how old was I? Maybe 8 or 9. And I think I said I was going to run away and find my parents. I vaguely remember that. It was cold outside. I remember that we were downstairs and they told me. And I said, you know what, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go find them. And they said, okay. So they let me get my bags and all that stuff. And I walked outside and it was too cold. So I was like, well, we'll just do it another day. But anyway, I really didn't have a big problem with it after I sat with it, because my mom told me, my adopted mother, Dorothy, told me that, you know, my parents, if they didn't love me, they wouldn't have even had me, because at that time, I don't think she talked to me about abortion. But now, you know, she could have aborted me. She was very selfless in even having me, to give me to another family that, you know, couldn't have children. And she was in, she was in college at the time at Knoxville College, and when she got pregnant with me, and so she wasn't able to provide the home that she thought I should have. She and her husband, which she eventually, well, we'll get into that. She wasn't able to provide the home that she wanted to provide for me, so she gave me up for adoption, which I think is an excellent thing, because like I said, people are having abortions left and right. So, you know, she could have very easily aborted me. So like I said, I really, to my knowledge, don't think I had a problem with them giving me up. I was never angry about it. Then, let's see what happened. Maybe in 2000, early 2000 or late 2002, early 2003, I was going to the club a lot. I was 22, 23. I was going to the club a lot, and one of the guys, like the older gentlemen that used to come and hit on all the young girls at the club, we were outside talking, and I don't even know how we got on it, but long story short, he said that he was over something with Knoxville College, and he was able to obtain the records. And I was like, you know what, I'm looking for my mom, because every now and again I would, you know, write Oprah, or, you know, like one of the talk shows, like, hey, I want to find my parents. Because I had some information, but it was very limited. Like, I knew they were in Jacksonville, and I, you know, knew some of the roots and some of the story, but I didn't know like who they were. I knew like a name, and I didn't know if she had, you know, had got married or what have you. So anyway, I told the guy, and I said, you know, I would love to find her, and I gave him her name. And he said, okay, I'll look. Well, you know how dudes doing, especially if they trying to talk to an old nasty man. Not nasty, I'm sorry, but, you know, a little old fella, and he's trying to holler at, you know, try to, you know, you not thinking anything about it. Well, anyway, when I went back to the club, because it wasn't that many clubs in Knoxville still eating at that time, he brought me the information back. He said, I found somebody. And he gave me her address, and, you know, so anyway, I ended up writing her, and it was her. So I sent all these pictures and stuff, and I was like, if you're interested in, you know, contacting me or whatever, let me know. So in 2003, I went to Jacksonville to meet them. And I will just say this. There's a difference in when I went then, and there's a difference in when I went this weekend. So again, I was 23. I have two sisters, Chiffon and Brandy. And both of my parents, my biological parents, they are married to this day. I think they got married 4 years later, 5 years later, I'm not sure, but it was too late to come back and get me. But I don't even know if, you know, they wanted to or whatever, but it was, whatever it was too late. So they ended up getting married, and they had two other children, Chiffon and Brandy, and they also adopted, or took in, they adopted three other, okay, one of them's adopted, two of them are adopted, and one's the foster. Well, it doesn't matter, we're all brothers and sisters. So anyway, I have a total of 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and 2 of them we are full blood. And when I went, when I was 23, I was very immature. I don't think that I kind of took in everything that was happening. I was just like, yeah, I got another family, woo, and didn't really take it in. Like, I didn't take it serious. And so my sister Chiffon, I got married, and I was, how old was I when I got married? 27, 28. And my sister under me, Chiffon, was in my wedding. And so they came to that, and my parents came to my graduation. So they've been kind of in my life, but there was really no, like, connection. And I don't think it was done purposefully. It just, the connection, it just wasn't there. Like, we would talk every now and again, but it wasn't. So I went, my sister Chiffon got married this past weekend, and I went to that. So really excited about that, because Kennedy, my daughter, has not met them at all. Like, they've never seen her. They've had a few conversations with her over the phone, but they've never seen her in person. I've sent a couple pictures, but just never in person. And so my daughter is really big on family. I am too now, but we'll talk about that here in a second. I don't want to make this video go too long, so I'm sorry if I do. Kennedy, so they've never seen her. So, you know, we were both really excited for her to meet them. And so we got there, and I saw my nephews. And Richard and Jacob, they were the first 2 I saw, and those are my nephews from my younger, the last sister, Brandy. And they were like, Auntie, TT. And I was like, oh. And I know that doesn't mean a lot to some people. I got it. But when you don't have that, it's like, oh, I got nephews. Like, and they're real. They're like my blood nephews, right? And so they loved on me. I'm going to try not to cry. I'm such a crybaby. They loved on me all weekend. And I know Brenda was like, oh, don't get on her nerves. But it was cool because, and I'm not even really a kid person. But I loved their love. And I remember Richard telling me, which is my older nephew of Brandy's, at the wedding, I was like, baby, go get Auntie a cupcake at the dessert bar at the wedding. And he came back and he just hugged me. They hugged me all weekend, but he just hugged me. He said, Auntie, I love you so much. And I will do anything for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try not to cry. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is like on a whole nother, like, oh my gosh, it was like on a whole nother level of love. And but anyway, they were just they woke me up every morning like, Auntie, like, wake up. And they asked me all these questions and I answered them to the best of my ability. Then I was able to talk to my mother. Now, mind you, I've met these people before. I've met them before, but it was like I really took in getting to know them. And I guess I was telling my sister, Shafine, the one under me, I was like, yeah, it's different this time. And I said, it really matters. And she was like, yeah, because you old. Anyway, but just kind of listening to the stories about how Shafine was, which I took away something from she and Brandy. Shafine is very blunt, says what's on her mind, and it's just like, eh. And then Brandy's kind of like, not soft, but, soft-spoken, introverted, which I saw myself in both of them. And they were, was describing Shafine as having a temper, like she don't play. And Brandy's kind of like, and I was like, I feel both of them because I had a bad temper. When you get me mad, you don't even want to see that. And my husband will always say, like, oh, they know the church lady, but they don't know you like I know you. Yeah, because don't start none, won't be none. But Shafine had the temper, Brandy's mild manner. And I'm both of those. We're introverted, but then some are, kind of extroverted. So I saw myself in both of those. And I remember both of them. And I remember in one of the car drives with my mother, Eloise, she asked me about my husband, and I was just telling her some things, and she said, you married your dad. And she said, which threw me for a loop, she said, we like the bad boys because the good boys are no fun. And I was like, yes, we never liked the good boy. I never liked the good boy. And I don't know if that's just a thing with women. Some like the goody two shoes. I never did. Like, I always wanted a man that, and I'm gonna be honest, a little foot out here in the street and then the foot out over here who, he knows how to talk to people, over here. If he need to get with you, he can and gather you up. Or if he needs to come out here into the corporate world and, he knows how to act. He knows both sides of the street. And that's the man I always wanted. But it was just something about the rough, I need a little rough. A man's just and she said, yeah, you described your dad. So anyway, she said, and you're probably going to have this conversation with your daughter about, the man that she chooses, because your sisters were the same way. They chose the same type of guy at the time. And also what kind of resonated to me is Shafine, the one that got married. My sister got married this past weekend. Her husband, he reminds me a lot of my husband. I don't know him, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to him, but we'll have our time later. But the story that they were saying that Shafine's friend, Candy, I think that's her name. I'm sorry if I didn't get your name right. But her friend, one of her maid of honors, said that her husband evened her out. Because a lot of people, because my sister has a strong personality, well, so do I. So you got to have that right man to be able to rein you in, like, hey, babe, get yourself together. And I remember they were saying that my father Willis really likes him. And so before my father passed, he really liked my husband, and he didn't like anybody. Well, he kind of liked one of the other little fellas, but he said it wasn't going to last. So it didn't, he was right about that. But he really loved my husband because he said, he evened you out. You were at the club all the time. You were wild. You were going out. And my husband was basically a homebody. So he really liked my husband for just keeping me on an even keel and calming me down. So that kind of put me in the mind of him. And then he's the bigger guy. So, like the gentle giant type of person, and the family man. That because my sister has, children outside of him, he has his own, but then how they can mesh together so well. Just, he looks like he would take care of her. And that made me really happy. Like, that really, really made me happy. So I was happy about that. Let's see, what else did I take away from the weekend? I talked to my dad. So what really made me happy about spending time with him this time is that the father that raised me has passed on. He passed away a few years ago. And he just taking time with me. And I know, well, he was taking time with me, showing me what to do with my car, giving me tips, tricks, things of that nature, of the things that I need to do to make sure that I'm able to take care of myself, even though I'm 39. It doesn't matter, because there's stuff that I still need to know. And specifically with my car, I don't always have to go to the mechanic. So he showed me a lot of things, where to put it. He got me under the hood. I mean, I recorded some of the stuff, but some of the stuff I couldn't because I had to write it down or put it in my phone. He talked to my daughter, just about different things. And I'll get to that in a second. But it made me like, oh my gosh, this is what I really needed. Like, I needed to be here, because I know I said this a couple of weeks ago in one of my other videos that I'm really trying, or I have been trying for the past few years, to kind of work on myself and just be a better person and kind of get in tune with who I am and who I want to be. And you can't really know that until you know where you come from. So really for this was the icing on the cake for me. And I just saw who I was this weekend, and where I got, how I got. Like my dad, it was just sitting there listening to him. I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. How I always say I cut the middleman out. I used to sell paparazzi $5 jewelry. It was good stuff, but it was a couple of things that didn't suit me. I didn't really wear it. That's number one. And I love accessories. I love earrings. I love necklaces and bracelets. I love accessories. But I found myself not really wearing them. So, and my degree is in family consumer science, but it's like in buying. So I was a buyer for a short period of time once I graduated. So I always knew the markup of things, what they cost when they came in, and the markup of it. And what paparazzi, it costs a certain amount of money. So I was like, okay, if I'm paying this and they're making millions of dollars, what can I get it for? So I'm always trying to figure out how to cut the middleman out. Okay. So I started doing my own research and found that I can get much better quality jewelry at a cheaper price, and I can mark it up higher. So that's why I started my own jewelry company. So listening to him talk, he was like, well, I'm not paying such and such to do my yard work, or I'm not charging them such and such to do this. I'm going to go find out how to do it myself, and then I'm going to do it and cut the middleman out. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is where I get it. And even though he had a job, he always has a hustle, some type of hustle, doing something. I'm going to get some money some kind of way. And so it resonated with me this weekend, because I saw who I was. I saw who I came from. I saw people who looked like me. It's crazy because my face, I'm like, oh my gosh, my husband and I have this joke, or he has this joke, or he says, you look at he was telling me a few weeks ago, look at your, what does he call me? Look at your pretty tall can head. He said, you look pretty, baby, with your face. You got a tall can head. And I said, but you know what? And I say this all the time, every time he says it. You know what? If you don't like it, somebody else will. And he was like, and I'll kill both of y'all. So that's just like our little thing. But my face, my features of my face, I got it from my mom. we're all built alike. It's crazy. We walk alike. We're built alike. Our butts are alike. It's crazy. Like, I'm just looking like, oh my gosh. And then I have like this toe on my left foot that's small. It's not like real crazy small. Like, it don't look crazy. It's still cute if I put my foot down. But it's the same toe that I have of my dad's. Which it's almost like I didn't even meet these people in 2003. I'm serious. Like, I never met them. But I'm glad I went this weekend. Let me see anything that, my little nieces, listen, my nieces and nephews, listen, I was too outdone. Little Ace and Paris and Brooklyn, I got a lot of them. LJ, which she's older, so, but I'm talking about the little kids. And the little girls, they were just so sweet. The little girls, my nieces are so sweet. Ace, all the kids are very sweet. Auntie, that, like, every time that got to me this weekend. I'm sorry. What else? My sister Brandy, I'm hoping she's going into entrepreneurship with her baking. Something that she's working on. I'm working on her too. Andra, sweet, my other sister, sweet girl. We got to walk to the store together. Like I said, I haven't walked to the store and I don't know how long. It's small stuff, but I was just excited to do it. So we walked to the store. I got some ice cream and she got some snacks, and we just kind of walked and talked a little bit. Her children, I got to meet them, and I keep trying to figure out my nieces and nephews. I'm sorry. I got to get used to it. But I have a lot of family. So even at the wedding, people were coming up to me. Oh my gosh, my thing cut off. Even at the wedding, people were coming up to me like, do you remember me? Do you remember me? Do you remember me? And I was just like, no, I don't. But I met them in 2003. But I don't think I was fully present or appreciative like I should have been at the time. But I am now. And I'm excited to get to know everybody. Like, even on my dad's side, he has 14 brothers and sisters. Like, I got, even just with that family, that's a lot of people. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited. I keep saying I'm excited, but I am. But I said all of that to say that family is important. And I know, and I can kind of just look at this even with my husband's side of the family. So if my husband's side of the family is watching, my in-laws, hey, I'm about to talk about y'all. I love them. They, even though I have my mom, my adoptive mother's side and my father's side of the family, we were cool. But what I started figuring out with family and closeness came through my husband's side of the family. Like, I'm fairly closer to them than my other family. I love my husband's side of the family. I love them. And took a quick liking to them. But from what I understand is when they were younger and the grandparents and the great-grandparents were alive, it was different than what it is now. And so the family dynamic is kind of falling apart. Everybody's kind of off into their own intermediate family. And I think that's unfortunate, especially for the children. The children need to know who they are, who they came from, and the old stories and who their cousins are, and especially when they start getting older, because you don't want them dating their cousins. You know how that goes. I just think family is important, and I love family reunions. And I told my mom, Eloise, I said, y'all gonna have to get a family reunion together. Like, I'm serious, because I don't want any more time, be any more time gone, and I don't know who everybody, and I may not even know who everybody is, but a good chunk of where I came from. My daughter, she's still young. Like, she really doesn't have like a lot of cousins her age. But on that side of the family, there's a slew of them. There's a ton of people I don't know. And I'm excited to get to know them. But I said this to say, get your families together. If you're watching this and you've been thinking, man, we need to get together. It doesn't have to be a huge family reunion, but a dinner or something. Everybody bring a crock pot, or not a crock pot, but, a covered dish of some sort. Everybody just get together, have family night, have a game night with whoever can make it. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Now, if I'm putting it on, That's going to be another story. But I know how I like stuff. But if you're not like the party planner or, you know, things of that nature, get your family together. Get the kids together. And when I was talking to my dad today, he said that they were doing a family reunion like every 3 to 5 years. That's too long. You know how many babies are born? You know how many, you know, people are getting older. People are going into the nursing homes. People are dying. 3 to 5 years is too long to wait for a reunion. It should be every year or every other year, or you can get, you know, small gatherings together. So everybody get together for Christmas or a brunch or a day before Christmas or, you know, game night, whatever. Y'all get together and go play basketball, go play games, something. Get your families together. It is important. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I left out of there crying. Oh my gosh. But I'm a crybaby anyway. Most of the people who are so tough, they are quick to cry. Anyway, but just knowing that I can say I have sisters. That's my sister. That's my sister Brandy. That's my sister Shafan. That's my sister Audra. You know, that's my brother James. I don't even know who he was. Oh, that was terrible. Oh my gosh. My brother Antoine. I have siblings. And that makes me happy. And I know some people are like, I've been had a sister, I've been had a brother, but you need them. You need them. And I'm glad I got to meet them. And it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to have your family in your life. And I know we don't always get along. You know, some people I don't fool with. Even on like my daddy's side, you can cancel Christmas. I don't fool with them. I love them from a distance, and that I'm cool with that. But the ones that you can get along with and, you know, pray for them, get them together. Get your family together. It's important. I'm trying to think if I left anything out. I don't think so. I have brother-in-laws, nieces and nephews. Oh, they love me. They love Auntie. Oh my gosh. They better be glad I don't live close, because, you know, I'm fool with kids, but I would go get them. They were some good kids. Real mannerable. I can fool with them. A little Ace. Cute self. They was all cute. Oh gosh. Anyway, I'm going to hop off here. You guys have a blessed day. Family first. Family first. Get to know who you are. Go sit down and talk to some older people. I used to say I don't really fool with older people like that, but sit down and talk to them. My husband is real big on talking to older people, and now I'm just like, yeah, we really need to do that. We need to know where we came from. We need to know who we are, and who we're made up of. And I found out this weekend. So anyway, you guys have a blessed week. Stay in touch with me. I will probably do a couple of videos this week. I don't know. Not gonna promise anything. Again, the candle making class is canceled. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I've got to get some rest. If you see my eyes, I need some rest. But stay connected with me on allthingsregan.com or allthingsregan on the Facebook platform and the Instagram platform. I also have Putting Me First on the Facebook platform, and I have a group and a page. Yeah. So connect with me. If you need anything, inbox me, or you can call me 865-235-9885. But if you get to talking crazy, I will block you. You guys have a blessed rest of the day. Talk to you later. Bye.